say it. A couple things that I'm trying to do, never having done this before, in the way that I'm doing it here in this carport. So we got it up in the air, me and my partner John got it up. And so we're going to try and lower it down using some sort of a plumb bob to gauge how it's going to work. We'll see. And I'm going to do a walk around the car and kind of show it off a little bit and see what we're trying to do. Really, the fitment of the body is just to see what I have to cut for the transmission, and if we have to modify the fireball, which if you watch the previous videos, you see that that's something I'm trying to avoid with this build. So let's look a little closer at what we're doing. So here's our plumb bob. It's moving a little bit in the wind, but here's the dash leg, as you can see, and there's the fitting that it needs to go on right down there. So I've managed to move the frame side to side a little bit with a jack to try and maneuver that. As soon as I get things aligned, of course, we'll start to drop it down. We'll have to use something other than these channel affairs that I use to get the body up off and out of here. We'll use jack, lower it down, and then you can see that I've got a couple of rubber body mounts sitting around. It doesn't sit actually right on it. There's body mounts that have to sit on the pads. So just going to go slow, go careful with it, try and get it down on here. And I have the piece of sheet metal for this transmission hole here that fits the Tremec tranny, and I just need to see where I need to fit the hole over the shift mechanism on the transmission and mark out the floor to cut that out. And as I said previously, I'm hoping that we're going to clear this transmission easily enough. Like I said, it looks like it's sticking up there quite a bit. I don't know about all this, but we're going to find out and post that as well. So back in a bit. Well, it is as I feared, and the firewall is not going to clear this engine. So I'm going to have to do some cutting to this firewall. What I did do was get the instruction manual, the assembly manual, the 1956 passenger car assembly manual. Well, that does map out the holes on the dash. So I've written down what the holes are. The battery box is moving to the trunk, so I really don't need that. The accelerator is going to be a drive-by-wire on this, so I won't need that. Oil sender wire clip, that's in there, and won't need that. So I'm going to mark out this firewall and get the cutting wheel and start modifications to it, so we can get this body fit hopefully today. So now we can see the firewall, got a pretty large section out of it. Tried to keep the hole for the transmission, the wiper motor transmission, where that comes through, because I'm going to drive this car and I'm going to have some wipers, so I'll have that motor there. At the back of the block, it's like 2.5 inches it sticks in there on the back of the heads there. So both sides are like that. And one thing I will want to do is bring the heater box here and put that in there to see how much clearance I'm going to have with that. That may need to be modified as well to make everything work out right. Side over here, same thing, you know, the heads don't quite clear the firewall, and that's okay. I guess the fact of the matter is that if you're putting an LS engine into a Tri-5 Chevy, you should plan on modifying the firewall. I did use a 3/4 forward position for the engine brackets, but and that's probably a good thing. It moves my transmission 3/4 of an inch forward, so, and I'd like to run the stock bench seat in this car. I'm looking across that and going, well, you know, I don't know. Probably the right shifter will do it. So I just tack that sheet metal tunnel in there, and the transmission does clear fine, so it's going to be all right. The one thing I did notice that I had a problem with, and it's going to be too dark to show on this video, is the rear cross member I put for the shock absorbers actually does hit the body mount for the body bumper. The center body bumper does hit that cross member mount, and I'm going to have to, when I get the body back off, I'm going to have to modify that part of the body. Other than that, I think it's all going to come together okay. You know, you always try and do as little as possible to, when you're building the car, you never know how far down the road you're going to get before you discover that, oh, that didn't work out so well. So we're gonna fit some sheet metal in here and box that in, and I've seen other videos of car builds where it just seems to be a standard practice. The firewall gets smoothed, and there's a lot on this firewall that I won't need with the modern engine. As I said, the battery box, and that's there's only one hole for that left. Looks like now I probably will get the clutch master cylinder that I'm going to need and try and fit that. Different things that I should have for the front of this firewall. Just want to make sure it all is going to fit on there before I go boxing it in and making more work for myself. So more videos as the project progresses, and thanks to everybody who's watching and commenting. Appreciate it.